Hello and welcome to the session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss lean manufacturing. This topic is covered heavily on the CMA exam, CPA exam, a little bit more, and in a typical cost accounting, managerial accounting course. What is lean manufacturing? Simply put, delivering more customer value, more value with far less resources, with far less waste, with far less money. But the best analogy I can give you for lean manufacturing is think about your room or your closet. Taking out everything out of your closet, piling it up on the floor, and going through it. Keep what you keep what you need, what you use, and whatever you don't need, get rid of it. Sell it, get rid of it, bag the junk. And I'm sure you would have that sense of relief when you clean up. But this is what we're talking about here in lean manufacturing. Now, you could apply the same mindset to invisible things like your time, your money, your wasted effort. From a manufacturing perspective, every plant manufacturing might have a clutter. And that clutter is very expensive because it drains your resources silently. So here comes lean manufacturing, where you can get rid of the clutter of the non-value added and keep only what's good for the customer. So let's dive a little bit more into specifically what's lean manufacturing or what's lean. It's a management philosophy that pursue one goal. And what is that goal? Well, maximize the value to who? To customer. Why? Because the customer is actually paying for the product. So you want to strip out anything that does not add value to the customer. Now, it's very important to know what's value added. We need to differentiate between value added and non-value added activity. But when we look at value added, we are always looking, listen to me carefully, from the customer perspective. Does this add value to the customer from their perspective? So a value added is any step the customer would knowingly pay for because it transformed the product or the service. For example, if you are building a custom software, the coding, the UX design, the server setup, those are actual value added to the customer. Non-value added activity is basically doesn't add value. It's a waste. Again, from which perspective? From the customer's perspective. So those are steps that add cost and time, but does not create value. Like what? Like waiting for approval to get the coding started, fixing any errors, moving data between incompatible systems. The customer, yes, that's necessary, but the customer is not interested in that. The customer wants what's their best interest, which is value-added activity. Now, there's a 5-step mindset that you need to be familiar with, and that is specify value from the customer's view. What does the customer want? Map the value stream and expose waste. Look at the system from A to Z and look at the waste and try to filter the waste out. Create flow that moves without stalls. No waste throughout the system. And try to create what's called a pull production from real demand. So don't create anything unless there's a demand for it, and continuously pursue perfection. In other words, keep adding value, keep improving the product continuously. And why it matters on the CMA exam specifically. Cost management questions reward candidates who can separate value added from non-value added activity. Link waste reduction to lower cost and shorter time leads, and connect lean to just-in-time inventory and quality. And this is what they want you to do. And this is what we will discuss a little bit more in this session. Lean manufacturing. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
My AI turns any lecture into a complete study system. You can create summary table, formulas, and example from each lecture. Flashcard builds from the lesson itself. A quiz build on the lesson. And as a bonus, convert any lecture into a portable short audio on the go. So it helps you with the retention. No noise, no generic responses, just clarity based on that specific lecture. Don't just watch, interact, test yourself, and retain the material using Farhat AI. Now go to farhatlectures.com now and see how the AI can help you understand, practice, and retain the material.
So the first thing you want to know is, where does waste hide? Well, we're going to find out that waste hide in 8 different places. And there's a memory aid. I don't believe in memory aid, but there's a memory aid called downtime. D is for defects. Any rework and scraps from errors. That's a waste. Any overproduction. Overproduction means what? Making more items than needed now or sooner than needed. You have 2 risks. If it's not needed, you wasted resources. If it's needed sooner, you tied up resources. Overproduction. The third waste is waiting. Waiting. Project on desk awaiting signature. We need your signature before we can start the programming. Idle people, idle machines, material that's sitting doing nothing. Non-used talent. And this was an additional waste. The original one were 7 and they added non-used talent. Non-used talent is what? Is when skills and ideas left untapped. You're not really talking to the people on the front line. You're not really talking to people who can add value regardless of their position, add value to the system. The 5th one is transportation. Moving goods, unnecessary movement of goods. Try to minimize that because there's the risk of damage when you move the goods. Also, having too much inventory, which is part of overproduction, excess stock to tie up cash. That's not good. Motion is another thing. Wasted movement of people. For example, walking 50 feet for a tool, 50 times a day. Just move the tool closer to you. Or for example, having a file that you need that's nested within 7 folders. You need to click 7 times to get to it. And extra processing. Well, extra processing is what? Doing more than what the customer value. If the customer wants a simple spreadsheet, don't create an animated dashboard that does not add value from the customer's perspective. That's not what they want. Now, originally, those were created by Toyota and they started with 7 and the non-used talent were added, just FYI. Let's talk about the root causes of inefficiencies. Lean targets 3 related sources of inefficiency, often summarized as the 3 M's, those are Japanese words. So if I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, just keep that in mind. Muda, mura, muri. And let's discuss each one of them because we want to go to the root cause of things. Muda. What's muda? Muda is waste. Okay, waste. Activity that consume resources but create no value. The 8 waste live there. This is what muda is. Mura is unevenness. What's unevenness? Is when you have irregular flow and demand or production that create peaks, troughs, and bottlenecks. What would be a good example of that? Idle Monday after a delayed shipment. Well, we're not doing anything on Monday. We received it on Tuesday. And now we're frantically working on that order. That forces us to run overtime on Friday. Okay. And muda, waste, an example of it is a cabinet sits 4 days waiting for inspection. That's waste of time. And muri is overburdening. This is where you push people or equipment beyond reasonable limit and inviting breakdowns and error. So running a machine nonstop will be an example of that with no maintenance window. The vicious cycle is something like this. You have mura, you panic, then you go into muri, and you exhaust the people, then muri will feed into muda, the waste. And on the exam, you need to know how these 3 connect to each other. Now, from a company's perspective, you need to build a lean culture. So what are some core practices, good practices? We are going to identify 4 for our purposes. The first one is teamwork, which is what? Cross-functional collaboration that surfaces problems fast and also attacks non-used talent, because when people are talking, they might find things out. The second one is the 5S workplace order, which is sort, set an order, shine, standardize, and sustain. What does that do? It exposes any abnormality at a glance. The second core practice is the 5S workplace order, which are sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. A disciplined, clean, organized workspace that exposes any abnormality at a glance. This is what we're looking at here. So basically, to kill the any waste of motion. Anything that's missing, it will appear when you have a workplace order, because everything in order and you can see things because it's spread out. The third practice is total productive maintenance, TPM. What does that mean? It means catch and fix equipment issue early. Why? You want to prevent failure before they stop the line rather than reacting after a breakdown. So it's a countermeasure to muri. Remember, we talked about the 3 ones. Preventive care instead of emergency surgery. That's what you want. And the fourth practice is demand flow. Demand flow is the pull versus push. Customer demand triggers production. Think of if you go to a fast food place in the drive-thru. The drive-thru is a pull order. Basically, they would only make your burger when you order it. They don't build your burger until you order it. What if they build 50 burgers and no one shows up? It's a waste of inventory. So in a demand flow, which is a pull, you would wait until there's a demand and you create the process, versus a push. Push is you create it and you wait. So work is pulled through the process only as needed, keep an inventory and lead times at low. This is what you want to do. And think of the drive-through system. And these practices reinforce each other. None works alone. Together, they keep value flowing toward who? The customer. Now, let's see how we measure manufacturing cycle efficiency, which is part of leaning. And let's look at an example. Because there's a formula, you might be asked to compute the formula. How do you compute manufacturing cycle efficiency before and after a lean program? You would look at the value added time divided by the total throughput cycle time. So let's look at activities and how long each activity is taken before and after. Processing, which is value added before and after we implemented, it's taking 3 hours. Inspection used to take 4 hours, now it's taking 1 hour. Moving, weight, and queue used to take 13 hours, now it's taking 4 hours. So before we had 20 hours, after we had 15. So the manufacturing cycle efficiency, the only thing that was added value was the 3 divided by 20. We used to spend 20 hours on things and only 3 of those 20 hours were value added. Now you have to be very careful. I'll revisit that in a moment to talk about inspection. After, what we're doing is we're spending 8 hours on the process and our manufacturing cycle efficiency, MSE, is 37.5. I just want you to pay attention to one thing. They always try to trap you on this: inspection. Everybody would think inspection is value added because inspection makes sure that your product is good before you send it out. The customer expect that. That's minimum. That's the base for the customer. They expect to have a product that's working. So from an inspection perspective, it's not adding value to the customer, it's catching your own errors. That's what it's doing. So keep in mind, inspection is a non-value added activity. I just want you to know this because students always fall for that. So processing time never changed. The gain come entirely from cutting inspection, moving, waiting, and queue time, all non-value added. And lower inventory and shorter lead times free up cash and expose remaining problem much, much faster. Few examples perhaps you want to watch for. Don't equate lean to head cut down. It's just like you're just reducing number of employees. That necessarily true. Watch out for that. Inspection is a non-value. Don't count it in the MCE. Just in time and low inventory expose problems on purpose. They also reduce the buffer against supply shocks. Make sure you're aware of that. And we talked about just in time. That's one of the negative in just in time. Match the term muda to waste, mura to unevenness, and muri to overburden. Demand flow is a pull system. Demand triggers production, not forecast push. Look for these. Lean It means maximize customer value, minimize waste. Know the 8 ways, the downtime and the 3 M's. Know the core principles. Know the formula for the MCE. And lean ties directly to just-in-time, quality, cost, and the value chain. Now let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. And obviously this question, if you look at the answer choices, they want to know whether you know muda, muri, mura, or kaizen. Again, those are Japanese terms. So if I butchered the pronunciation, that's perfectly fine. I have a valid excuse for that. So let's take a look at this question. A controller reviews a plan that runs idle early in the week, then schedules heavy overtime late in the week to meet a bunched up shipping deadlines. So on Monday, we don't get the order on time. We get it on Tuesday or Wednesday. As a result, we rush to get the work done by Friday. We end up doing overtime. Starting with muda. When you say muda, think about waste. Waste is a non-value adding activity. Now here we have waste, but that's not what we are describing. What we're describing here is uneven pattern. Itself isn't a waste category, though it tends to create waste, but this is not what we're discussing here. It's not muda. Is it muri? Muri is overburdening of people or machines beyond their capacity, the reasonable limit. The overtime is the symptoms of this problem, of this unevenness, but the question describes the pattern, not the strain. Now, mura is what it's being described here. Mura is unevenness, inconsistency in workflow or demand. Exactly the peaks and troughs pattern described in this problem. Therefore, the answer is C. And kaizen, you need to know the definition of kaizen. It's a continuous improvement. It's a philosophy, not a problem. Kaizen is a great philosophy. In my company, I implement kaizen, continuous improvement. So if you're taking this question on farhatlectures.com, you could always ask the AI to explain those terms, explain the correct and incorrect answer in depth, create a similar MCQ to practice those terms. Here's what I can tell you. Whether you are a CPA exam candidate, CMA, accounting student, studying for anything, go to Farhat Lectures and invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can make. No one can take that away from you. God bless.